Welcome back everybody to the Hello World Guy, and let's quickly get started with today's amazing tutorial. Alright guys, so here I have got my Unity project here, and you can see I have deleted the ground and everything, and I have also made the player at a y of exactly 1 because just I wanted to, and just moving back a little. And this I have deleted the ground because now we are going to work on our proper level here, and we are not going to make that out of cubes, but instead use a tool called ProBuilder to design a great level. So how can we actually do that? Well, in order to design a level using ProBuilder, a ProBuilder is, by the way, a tool, a separate package for Unity, which is absolutely great. You should definitely use it. I highly recommend that, and it's a really great package. And what you can do to install it is go under Window Package Manager and just go here and find the ProBuilder package and install it. Now, along with this, ProGrid will also be really useful. Install that as well. If you cannot find it, then go under here, hit Add Package by Name, and type com.unity.progrids here. And once you hit Add, it should automatically install the package. Alright, so if you once you have done that, then you should see this kind of window here. This is for ProGrid. It basically allows us to move anything, basically anything, while snapping it to a grid. Yeah, and as you can see, that's pretty awesome, and it's pretty cool to see that. So this is really helpful, and I have changed the size of this to 0.5, and you should do the same, believe me. And once you have done that, now what I'm going to do is go under Tools, ProBuilder, and ProBuilder window. Then you can see this window pops up. I'm going to dock it here beneath the inspector, and that's pretty good. So now what we can do is start adding stuff. So what I'm going to do is select this new shape tool, and then for the shape here, this create shape dialog, I'm going to choose a cube. Now I can just as you can see, if I hover over it, you can see that I can shift, click, and drag to place and scale the image. But if I just shift and click, then that should allow me to just paste a cube right there. Now for the size, I can determine it here, and you can see I can choose whatever I like here. Something like I would like it to be 30 on the X, on the Y it should be 16, and on the X on the Z it should be 50, I think. Now if I go here and hit shift, you can see that this is the room that we are creating. Basically, I'm going to make it a little smaller, 20 maybe, and then 30 here. And if I go here and let's hit shift, you can see that this is the room we are creating. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do, in order to actually add it, I can just shift and click anywhere, and that should add it. And I can even move it to 0, 0, and 0, and that should be pretty awesome. But I'm also going to move it up on the Y by exactly 8 units to make sure that it's exactly at the ground level. Now you can see inside the room we cannot see the walls. That's because all of the walls are pointing outside. So if I select with my room selected, if I go under this ProBuilder window and hit flip normal, that should work. And as you can see, now the walls are appearing inside, and the colliders should work automatically as well. Now this is pretty cool and all. So yeah, we have got a basic room setup, and now we can add more things inside of it. So in order to add more things, I think that this should be a little wider. The room should be just a little bit larger. So what I can do is go under face selection mode by selecting this, and now you can see I just select individual faces. Now what I'm going to do is just go inside and select this face over here, and then I'm going to go here and just drag it outward, and I can drag it to wherever I like. I can maybe like that, and that's pretty good, I guess. And yeah, now I'm going to go back into normal object selection mode, and now what I'm going to do is go under new shape again, and this time I'm going to choose a set of stairs, and for the X I'm going to choose 6, for the Y I'm going to choose 10, and for the Z I am obviously going to choose something a lot lower, like maybe 10 as maybe 5. If I hit shift, you can get a preview of what this would look like, and as you can see 5 is certainly too small, so 10 looks a bit better. And what I'm going to do is go back here and choose shift, and then I'm going to hit click, and that should add a as you can see a stair, a set of stairs here, and I can just rotate it 90 degrees on the Y. Then I can move it on the X to something like zero, something like I can actually, I'm going to first of course move it I can move it to the 0 on the Z, but I'm going to set it to 25. No, of course not that, that's a bit too close. 15, that's a pretty reasonable value. And I'm going to select my move tool here, and as you can see, if I just turn off this new shape, then I get back to normal tools, and I can move this to exactly here, and that looks pretty good. And what I can do is I actually want to have a kind of a place to walk upon here, and then a whole roof over this whole area and that whole area, and have that area be sealed off, so a player can only access it by jumping above here. So to show you what I mean, it's better if I do it practically. So I'm going to go under face selection mode and then select this top face here. We are actually going to extrude this. One more thing that you can do is actually add in a loop cut here. That's also possible, but I'm not going to do that, and instead just I'm going to go here inside of my here and inside of my ProBuilder window, and try to find the extrude faces option here. I'm going to click that, and that should extrude a face. And I can select this now here, the edge, and extrude that again, and then I can move it until it reaches exactly this point here. And what I can do now is select this face over here and hit extrude that, and then move this forward until it reaches exactly at the back. uh, Here. That's pretty awesome. And now what I can do is select this face over here, and then I can hit extrude faces, and I can move this over here. And then what I can do is go under here, and I'm going to add in a wall here. So I'm going to extrude this face, and I want a wall to block off this area, so I'm going to select this and extrude that as well, and then move it down. And moving it down should allow us to have a basic wall, which looks pretty awesome. And yeah, I'm going to select this face here as well, and then extrude that as well too, so that this area is completely sealed off from the rest. Now one more thing I can do is actually I think this is pretty enough, but I can what I can do is select this area here, and I can hit extrude faces to extrude that as well, and then maybe we can make it at the top. So if I go inside, you can see that this is at the top, and that looks pretty good. So we can only jump at this place. So we have got a pretty good looking room set up. Now currently, of course, there is one obvious problem, and that is our enemy points are now not exactly at correct places. So if I go under here, if I select my first spawn point, and I hit F, then you can see that I can't really see it actually. Where is it? Alright, I just press the key, and okay, this is kind of bad. Okay, so if I go here and hit F, okay, so currently it's not just displaying anything really. So if I go back into object selection mode, that's if I select my spawn point, and yeah, that's good. Alright, so if I go near the spawn point, and you can see that it's kind of outside. So if I take it back in here, inside of the actual the actual, so this is inside now, inside of the actual what I mean to say is the actual room, and now it's inside of it, and that's pretty good. So if I select my spawn point 2, it's outside, and I can move it in, and yeah, that's pretty good. Just make sure that all of your points are located inside the actual room, and then spawn point 3 is outside very much. And what I'm actually going to do is move it above on the roof, and that's pretty awesome. But if I actually hit play at this point, you should see that none of it actually works. So if I start the game, then there is an error here for me. I don't know if it's for you, but if it is, just ignore it for now. That doesn't really matter. But now if I go here, Then you can see there is an enemy here, and that's pretty good. And as far as the other enemy is concerned, he is here as well. But if I actually try to go up, then you can see it kind of errors out. And the reason is that because our NavMesh is of course outdated. So if I go under Window and I go under go under AI and Navigation, you can see that our NavMesh is certainly not correct. So in order to fix that, what I'm going to do is select my cube and stairs object. I will just rename this to in room and move the stairs object a child of it, and then I'm going to select both of these objects and make them navigation static. Yes, change children as well. And once I do that and make them, and if I go here and hit bake again, then now you can see it's kind of working. Really, that's pretty awesome. And we can walk on top as well. So now if I hit play, then you should see that everything is perfectly functioning. Just disregard this error for now. And oh, okay. And if I wait for an enemy to spawn, yeah, he's there. And if I actually try to go up, then he should follow me up the stairs. But he can't actually do that because you know the stairs are a bit high, too high for him to climb. So if I go out of here and I go under prefab and then you open up the enemy prefab, then in inspector you can see that height is 2 and speed and all that is set up here, and here if I can find it, step height is all right. Sorry, it's not here. Go to navigation and agents. Then you can see this has got a step height of 1. Make it something like 1.5. Then we will see if it functions, and if it doesn't, then it means there is something else that we need to fix. So if I wait for an enemy to come here, come on, come. Alright, that's him, and as you can see I'm moving up and he is coming here and he's kind of stopping. He's not able to walk on the step. So there is certainly not a problem with our step size. Instead there is a problem with our actual stepping. And you can see the enemy spawn on top does work, and if I go down, then he kind of doesn't actually manage to come down because he's not currently allowed to climb stairs. So we need to add that to our enemy. So how can we accomplish that? Now the reason that this is actually not working is that our enemy needs to jump over this place. In order to actually reach the other point, he needs to jump, and our enemy really doesn't know how to reach this stairs, so he needs to jump this really small area, but he doesn't quite know how to do that. So in order to let him know how to do that, we are going to use something called off mesh links, and I have already added that. I'm going to just show you what they are. So I added this empty object called links just to organize them. If I go here and hit reset, right, and just to organize them, I have added this links game object, and you can see we have got a link one here and an end one. Now I have made them both spheres just so that we have a visual cue of where they are, but they actually don't need to be visible at all. Now this second one, the end one, so this end can be just a an empty object. It doesn't really need anything, but we have added the sphere mesh renderer for our visual cue. And in this here you need to have a component called off mesh link. Now in here you need to provide it with a start and an end. So the start is going to be this object itself, and the end is going to be the other end that we have created. And once you have done that, if you actually go to the navigation window, you should see that there is a link between them. Now in order for it to actually work, you need to make sure that you have got a slight drop height and a jump height as well, so that our character is already actually able to jump. And now this should actually work, so our enemy should be able to climb. And you can add as many of these as you want. If you want more vertical control, for example, you can have one here to cause the enemy to fall from this instead of climbing stairs, and one for here. I'm not going to add one for here because I want this to be kind of a safe place for the player, but you can add as many of these as you want, and you can design your own levels with this. So if I play the game, then you can see that this is pretty good, and that's pretty awesome. It's looking quite nice. And as soon as the enemy appears, I am going to start shooting him. and actually that's not what I intended. But if I stand here and let the enemy come towards me, you can see that he climbs using that off mesh link. And if I, this enemy can also come down using the same off mesh link. And if I go up, then they can come up as well, which is pretty nice. So you can see that this is basically working, and you can add one for here as well, because currently the enemies cannot go here, but they can come downstairs. So all of this is pretty cool. So anyways, this is it for this video, and I will see you in the next video. Also make sure to like and subscribe, and bye.